Hello everybody, it's Chris Nguyen back at it again with Hey, did you know? So today we're going to talk about property sales report across the country, right? Now, for today's content, we're going to go into an introduction of the Canadian housing market, and I'm gonna give you some previous updates and current activities across the real estate market of Canada. And I will give you an explanation of why these activities are happening right now and what do I think about it personally. Right now, first of all, in March, if you are not familiar, in March there was an interest rate increase happened across the country, which pushes mortgage interest and monthly payments for any sort of loans has become more expensive. That is why borrowing money to purchase properties have become more and more difficult for most buyers, and that's what contribute to a small slowdown of the real estate market. Okay, and the reason why there was an interest rate increase was because of an inflation, right? Or not an inflation, but there was inflations that going up too high, which making everything out of reach for a lot of people, any products and services. That's why the government attempts to slow down inflation by increasing interest rate so that less buying, less purchasing, and allow the prices to stabilize. Okay, so let's go over the market summary here. There was 33,698 transactions across the market in Canada, and that is 36% less than last month at the same time. And this number is October number, right? And so 30 last year in October of 2021, there was 36% more real estate transaction and activity happening across the market, right? And average sold price, even though went up by 0.65% compared to September. So that means the market is slowly recover at a slow rate. But if we compare it with last year, so for the whole 12 months, the average price went down by 10% across Canada, right? So of course, some market has a bigger correction than others, but basically we're seeing an average of 10% price corrections, which really is nothing to be concerned about, but I will go through that in a bit. Okay? And you can check out the report that I'm looking at here, is that average sold price and transactions pretty much go hand in hand. When there's less transactions, sold price also go down, right? And that's what we're seeing today. Now, I give you some market updates in different specific markets, depends on where you're watching from, right? In GTA, the average price is $1.089 million in October of 2022, which is a 6% less than last year at the same time, right? And so the price is still quite high there. To be honest, that 6% correction really didn't do much. In Hamilton market, there was a price decrease of 9% compared to last year. In Brampton, 8% decrease, and in Mississauga, there's only 1% decrease, right? And then in Ottawa, you only see a 2% decrease. So on average, it's going between, well, less than 10% for sure. And this is not anything major, maybe not yet, we don't know, but at this moment, this is not enough to hurt anyone's net worth or life. Right. Now, let's go over a more interesting market. In New Brunswick, we actually see a price increase of 6% compared to last year, right? So every other major market is running to a price correction, but in New Brunswick, the price still went up by 6%, which is a lot less than what it was last year, but still fascinating to see. Now Halifax also up by 8% year over year, which is another very interesting market. And you will notice that the average price for these markets are smaller than the major markets that have going through corrections. So it looks like the interest rate is only hurting or creating corrections in major markets. Right? In Calgary, price have increased 5% compared to last year as well. And in Edmonton, you're also seeing a 1% decrease. Again, very minor because these are smaller market, property price are going under $500,000 on average. That's why you see the discrepancy versus the major market like Vancouver and Toronto and BC and Ontario, right? So what's going on? Why do we have a 10% correction and why we also have a 5% increase in some markets? Well, since March of 2022, there was 3.5 points interest rate hike, right? Which again, as I mentioned at the beginning, make it more difficult for most buyers to get approved for purchases, right? And cash flow become less as well. However, in smaller markets, the amount of money they need to pay is still very insignificant. So that's why the price is not being corrected too much. Okay, and same thing with inflation. Because of inflation went up, now interest rate have to go up to keep inflation down. Yep. Now also, what's going on with the market is why it slowed down 10% or less compared to last year, or even some market that went up by 5%, which is a lot less than last year. Right? Last year they could have gone up by 100%. It's because a lot of buyers are waiting for another potential interest hike before they take any actions. Also, sellers are holding off on listing the property on the market, waiting for a better time to get a better price on their properties. Right? And a lot of buyers are still waiting for a bigger corrections. We are already in a corrections, but a lot of buyers are still waiting for price to go all the way to the bottom, I guess. And the ability to borrow is now become less for a lot of buyers, HELOC and mortgages. So that's why you're seeing less buying, less offers, and less activity. So what does this all mean? As an investor, I see this personally as an opportunity to buy better priced property, right? Even though the interest rate is not ideal, however, we all know if we get into variable mortgage, when interest rate improve, we also gonna enjoy the benefit of it. Right? And we all know this is not gonna last forever. This is just a temporary measure that the government puts in to help the market correct. So it's doing what it's supposed to do, and because of that, there's actually a lot of discounted property, 10%. But when you go off market like I always do, it's a lot cheaper than that. Right? So anyways, hope that helps and see you next time. Peace.